Hi, this is Steven from Just Got Played, and today I'm going to unbox Orichalcum from Pandasurus. So, Orichalcum is one of my favorite games I've played this year so far in 2023. So I got a copy of it on the Game Nerds Day for real cheap. So pretty happy about that. And for some reason, it says it's a limited edition, which includes an exclusive metal first player token. I mean, I didn't go out and get this right when it came out, so that's a little surprising. But you can see it's got like an Atlantean theme going on. We got 2 to 4 players, 45 minutes, ages 12 and up. I guarantee you my 9-year-old boys can play this game. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it open and see what all is in here. So Orichalcum is, nobody knows exactly what it is, but the temple in Atlantis, I think, was described as being coated in it. There's a couple of different descriptions of it. It could be like, it's an alloy, so it could be like brass, or it could be like bronze or something like that. That's Greek. The Romans transposed it as orichalcum with like gold. So anyway, doesn't really matter. But thematically, orichalcum and Atlantis, that makes sense. All right, so what do we got here? We got all the game components. We'll be taking a look at those and the overview of the game. It's actually fairly simple as far as the game flow goes. The setup is pretty simple too. But, you select an action, you place some terrain, you resolve the action. You can do an extra action if you want. And that's about it. I never played with 2 players, so I never did that extra action. So, it explains everything that's going on here. The rulebook is actually pretty good, although I had this taught to me. I have looked at an online version of the rulebook, and it seems like it was pretty straightforward. All right, so let's have a look here. So again, here's this extra action that you only do if you're playing the 2-player game. All right. Oh, and there's even a summary. Didn't know that was there, but that's cool. All right. Summary of the buildings. That's nice, I guess, when they come up because there's no text or anything on those. The creatures as well. Cool. Icons, etc. That's handy to have. All right. So here is some of the Orichalcum. Let's have a look. You collect that as a resource. You can trade 5 of these in order to get essentially a victory point. So that's cool. That's just one thing you can do with it. All right, these are the hoplites, the Greek soldiers, which again are just sort of like a resource, although you do use these to fight creatures. They give you extra dice when you fight creatures. So that's cool. All right, let's see. These are these called action cards or something. They're the things that you select every round. Let me look in the manual and see what it actually calls them. Action cards. Okay, all right. So there's 12 of these. So these come out on the board, and they tell you what size terrain goes on there, whether it's a 1, 2, or a 3. There's some 2s there somewhere. Yep. And then it also tells you what action you do. So you get the piece of terrain that goes with this, and you get the action that is corresponding onto the right side as well. All right, so that tells you the different things you can do on your turn. We got some extra bags. It's always nice. I like bagging everything. Got some components here, some bags for components here. This brown one is for the buildings, and the red one is for the creatures, apparently. So they seem all right. Let me look at the stitching here. Yeah, I don't know. Probably should stand up to some wear. All right. So these are the combat dice. This is what you fight the creatures with. So you always get 1 die when you go to battle a creature, and then you can get extra dice by committing hoplites. If you roll a skull, it's just a win. You just kill the creature. Otherwise, you're rolling numbers, and you need to add up to whatever the combat value of the creature is or higher. So these are nice, sort of rounded D6 shaped dice. They roll pretty well. All right. We got a lot of standees here. So these are for the monsters, creatures. But, they just look like basic standard standees. Here's that first player marker. I don't know if there is something other than this that comes in a different version of the game, but that is a fancy first player marker. Was not expecting that, but nice. Always nice to get cool components when you're not expecting them. All right, so there's player boards. I don't know how to tell one player board side is more complicated than the other. More difficult, maybe. There's a 2 down there versus a 1 down there. So I don't know. I think that's why there's 2 different sides to this. But your board is where you put these terrain tiles out, and then it tells you, here's where you can store your hoplites, your gold, and the creatures that you've killed over here. And it tells you that you can spend 2 of those to get an extra one of these actions, or 2 of those to get an extra one of these actions, or 2 of those to get one of these actions. So there's some handy reminders there along right next to where you're storing that stuff. All right, so there's the Atlantean leader, I guess, that you're playing. And then here's another board. The map looks different on that one, and of course the different art. And we'll flip it over, and there is the other side of this one in case you were curious. So there's 4 of these. So I will go ahead and show you the maps for all 4, since they seems like there are maybe some differences on one side or another. Where these are, you start on one of these, but also if you cover one of these, you get some resources. So that's important. All right, got one more board here. All right, interesting. And there you go. All right, so there's the 4 boards. All right, so this is the actions board, maybe. All right, so you've got this board, and this is where these different cards go out, right? So, and these cards go out, and these are what you get to choose from, on your turn. And I don't have the terrain tiles out on these, but you'll pick one, and these 2 are always free. These you have to discard hoplites to take any of these. But anyway, you take it, and then they, slide down, and then a new one comes out. So you could be making things cheaper for your opponents. So you always have to be cognizant of that. But, maybe you just need whatever you need. I guess the space is only used with 4 players. Is there another side to this? No, it's just art on the other side. Okay, that's cool. All right, so here's a bunch of the different terrain tiles. There's like ocean and mountain, and these are nice, thick tiles. Deserts and forest. So I think those are the 4 basic types. And then you'll see there are these volcanoes. And those are interesting because not only are they a wild terrain type, which is cool, but every time they come out with a creature on them. And you have to kill that creature before you can build buildings and things. All right, so this is probably your starting tile that you put somewhere on your board. This, when you do the generate a hoplite action, this one will generate a hoplite, that would generate Orichalcum, that would generate Orichalcum. So you can get multiple buildings out that do that, but you always start with 1, so there's 4 of those. All right, and so here's some more of the terrain tiles. There's a 3-1, and then there were some, just 1s as well. All right, and all of that might be important because you're trying to puzzle them together on your board. All right, let's look at some of the creatures here. So, is this like a Cyclops or something? All right, there's a couple of different versions of that. So I mentioned the strength. So this one has strength 10, and that's the reward for when you defeat it, as well as, taking it sort of as a trophy that you can spend. There's a reward. Not sure what those rewards are, unless they're the favor. They look sort of like the favor of the gods, which I don't think we've seen yet. Here's that other first player marker. That one's actually, maybe. That's pretty nice, actually. I mean, didn't necessarily need the metal one, but, I'll take it. All right. So this board, see, is it different on each side, or is it the same? All right. Well, anyway, there'll be different buildings on this board. So if you do the construct action, you can construct one of the buildings that's out here. It has to go on the terrain type that is specified there. You can also construct a temple. I guess we haven't gotten to the temples yet. A temple has to cover up 4 different. It takes up 4 terrain pieces, and they all have to be different. Although, again, volcanoes are wild, and that's a victory. You get a victory point for constructing a temple. You also can turn 5 Orichalcum into, you can mint a coin, essentially. It meant a victory point. So those are things you can do with this. So it's nice that, you basically have all the reminders of what you can do right here on the board pieces. All right, so here are the gods. Are they called gods or titans? They're called titans. All right, so if you put 3 of this terrain type in a row, you can claim this. And this is a victory point. And even if somebody else has it, you just steal it from them. It also has a benefit. So this one, I think, says if you're generating Orichalcum, you get an extra Orichalcum for every mine you have. So that's a one-time use. So when you're doing this action, you can use this to flip it over to activate that ability. You keep this, and it's still a victory point. If somebody else steals it, it goes back on the reactivated side. But anyway, somebody can steal it just by building another 3 space. You could have built a 4 area of this terrain, and somebody builds a 3, and they steal this from you because they're fickle. They go to the most recent person. So that was, and here's another one. The ocean one seems like it helps with hoplite production. This one looks like you just kill a creature during combat without having to actually roll to defeat it. That's pretty cool. Definitely that would have been useful. Here's the construct action. Looks like you get to do an extra construct with that one. All right. Here is this. I have no idea what this is. This says initiative pawn with its plastic base. I don't know. Is that same as first player? I would think. I don't really know. All right. These are all the different buildings. So you can get buildings that generate hoplites or Orichalcum, and then there are buildings that break rules in other ways. So, for instance, if you have this type of weapon, what is this, like a crossbow, ballista? I don't know what that is. Anyway, if you roll a 2, it's the same as rolling a skull. If you catapults, 3 is a skull. Trebuchet, 1 is a skull. Not sure what that one does. Oh, this one says creatures can be spent like money. So anyway, a bunch of different ones. You can only have 1 Titan, but one of these buildings actually allows you to have more than 1 Titan at a time. Not sure which of those buildings it is. But anyway, there's a bunch of buildings. Here's some more. Let's see if we can get those out of there. All right, here's some more single space ocean tiles. And these are the temples that I talked about that cover up 4 spaces when you put them on your board. If you're trying to build a building or a temple, you can't build it next to a creature either. You have to have defeated a creature. And also you win. Oh, so this was just a victory point. Okay. So these are the coins that you meant. And you put them on your board. Let me pull another one of these player boards out here to show you. The boards have the notches at the top where you put things that give you victory points. The Titans get notched in there. These coins get notched in there. When you load up to 5, you win, assuming you have cleared your board of creatures. That's the other victory condition. All right, so we've got some blank ones as well. And there you go. Got some nice art there. But there you go. Like I said, I've played this game and thought it was really good. So when I saw it on sale, I grabbed a copy. I was getting free shipping on it anyway because I was getting some other stuff from Game Nerds at the time. So that made the price just right. Because, normally I don't buy games that only play up to 4 players, but this one was worth it. Orichalcum. All right. Well, if you have any more questions about Orichalcum or my thoughts on it, you can ask in the YouTube comments below, or if you look in the description of the video, there's a link to our Discord channel. I'm in there too all the time, so you can just drop a question in there about this or anything else, whatever, board games. I'll try to answer you. But until the next time, thanks for watching.